let's begin the meeting of the Green Bay Traffic, Bicycle, and Pedestrian Commission. It should be noted that all members are present. So we'll go down to, let's take C and D together because it's approval of the well-defined minutes that you already looked at, hopefully. Is there a motion to approve C and D together?
I will make a motion to approve C and D.
I'll second.
And there is a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Regular business, consideration and possible action on the report of the police department on the monthly traffic enforcement. Sergeant?
All right, so I have our second and third fatal quarter reports here.
Pass them down if you want.
Got some for top down there.
This will go.
So we had none in the third quarter,
Oh, thanks.
which was good. But I mean, for the second quarter, everyone got
Thank you.
submitted around. We had two in the second quarter. One was at Lowell and Ontario. I think we talked about that right after it happened during the first quarter one. With that one, a 7 or 8-year-old female failed to stop at a stop sign and got T-boned. She succumbed to her injuries later at the hospital. And there was only citation issued, and that was to her. And the other one during that quarter was Huron and Finger. And that one, a motorcycle driving at a high rate of speed. Car pulled out in front of the motorcycle, but due to the excessive speed, the motorcyclist forfeited the right of way. And the motorcyclist come to injuries in that crash as well.
Just out of curiosity, and this question for you as well as Steve, what do crash reports, crash data look like at that intersection? Because I drive up and down Huron, living up by the university, so I drive down the Huron corridor often, and that's bad. People are zipping down Huron faster than they should be. And it's a bad intersection. Like, people are trying to jump across. I've seen a lot of risky crossings there. Do you know what time of day this one happened at?
That one was right about noon on a
At
Friday.
noon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any drinking involved?
I don't believe so on that one. There was,
Just
yeah,
excessive speed.
yeah, just excessive speed.
Okay.
I didn't see what the exact speed was. The sheriff's department's handling the reconstruction on that one. But
That's
just the one
part of
video
the
that I
issue,
saw
is it's a county trunk highway.
Yeah, so
It's not
that's,
under our jurisdiction.
okay, so even for police coverage, you guys don't cover Huron?
No, we do cover that, yeah.
But not,
But as far as
not
DPW would-
routinely.
Yeah.
It's more a county highway than a city street. So we're kind of like second position behind the sheriff's office out there. But I live half a block off of it. I'm very familiar with traffic conditions on Huron Road.
Can we put a request in through you, Steve, to the sheriff to augment some traffic enforcement there?
Well, that would be enforcement. That's within Green Bay. So
Yeah,
Police department handles enforcement.
our guys are doing,
yeah.
we've got speed trailers up there
Pull
every
over.
other week. I mean, there's a lot of enforcement going on. It's just
There is.
as soon as the enforcement effort stops, a lot like an Operation Frogger. When the operation's going on, you get a lot of compliance, and as soon as the cars go away and they don't see a squad out there, there are some people out there, when we put the speed boards up, who think it's a video game and they're going for a high score.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's,
I hear them, like, motorcycles just absolutely pinned. Going up
the
and
bigger
down
one
Huron.
that I hear is the Honda Accords and the 4-cylinder cars that have the coffee can for a muffler.
Yeah.
And as they come through the S-curve north of Sitka, which is where I live, I can hear the backfire coming out of the pipes as they're rolling in and out of the throttle through the S-curves.
Yeah, and they do like to race down Huron, and it's
Sergeant,
kind of a chasing the soccer ball around it.
Yeah. We did get, and I don't know all the specifics of it, we did get a grant to augment speeding enforcement in the city. Do you know much about that?
I don't, I heard a little bit about the chief, because, in part, because we were looking at, like I said, our resources being drawn thin, prioritizing where we're enforcing And a lot of enforcement we go to is neighbor complaints and stuff and responding to those, which, you know, some of them are warranted, but a lot of the neighborhood ones we go to are a perception issue that people think that cars are going 80 miles an hour on a 2-block street, which isn't possible. And it, you know, maybe a couple that do, but trying to prioritize getting our officers in spots that are going to have the biggest impact with their time. So one thing we're looking at is a GPS way of analyzing traffic where we can get every single city street analyzed, and the company that does it, they tap into GPS data on vehicles.
Yeah, so you guys are talking to them too?
Yep.
Okay.
And it was, what was it, Urban SDK? There's another
Yeah,
company.
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I missed.
One out of Canada, one out of Florida.
Yep, there's the Florida one.
I've seen demonstrations on both.
Yeah, and I think as far as the police perspective, there's like 30 or 40, maybe 50% of cars that they're able to get into. So it's good for us to be able to have the data as far as the, you know, analyzing other traffic data that you guys would use might not be enough, but it's a developing technology that would definitely be able to help us.
That'd be real
Is it
time
the,
data.
oh, go ahead.
And it's real time. Well, they're about a 2-week delay on data, but as they're getting in, they said within the next couple months, they're probably gonna be like a 2-day, you know, where you can look at data from 2 days ago.
People not knowing it's happening.
Yep, and it,
Yeah.
and it
Way
gives
more
us
realistic.
a real, like you said, real time, maybe not real time, but
Real-ish time.
yes, without the traffic calming measures that SP Board has, so that we can, you know, look at that complaint and go, well, people are speeding, they think people are speeding there, and we can just, with a couple minutes, look up the data and respond back to the citizen. Well, thanks for your concern. From what we can see, we'll get somebody out there if we're able to, but it's not something we're gonna throw a lot of time and effort at. Or if we have another spot where, 90% of cars are going this fast or faster, then okay, we know it's something worth going to. So that's something we're looking into right now.
Any other questions of the sergeant?
I got one other I wanted to touch on. We just within the last, a week and a half ago, we had another fatal crash in front of Club XS. And I remember looking back, we've had a lot of crashes there. And look back at the data I can find back since 2003, this is the third fatal crash we've had in the exact same spot. We've also had 4 serious injury crashes there.
Where
And
is
it's at 1100 block of Main Street. And the issue is they have, the majority of their patrons park in the Pomp's Tire Lot on the north side, and they directly across the mid-block right to Club Access. And it's constant when you're going through, there's people jaywalking through there. And like I said, it's three fatals and 4 serious crashes in the last 20 years there.
all car ped?
Yeah, all car ped stuff.
The gentleman walked onto traffic.
Yep, and at every one it's going, and even at the times, the 5 of the 7 crashes were between 2:15 and 2:27 in the morning, right when people are leaving the bars there, and
'Cause
the other 2
when the
were
club
at
bought it, they fenced off
11:30 at
the
night.
parking lot behind. So when the strip club bought the property,
That's right.
they fenced off where people used to park on the back streets and in the parking lot. So ever since then, everyone's crossing to the parking or
And
that
it's,
street.
and it's convenient for them to come straight across rather than trying to walk down the Clay or over to Roosevelt, so
Well,
it might be
blocks-
something working in.
The blocks are so short, so close together that I don't know it.
Well, I think that's a pretty far.
But
that's
they
a pretty
were at
long
the
block
Oval
there.
Office on that Friday night.
What's that?
They were at the Oval Office?
No, Oval Office, because the Oval Office has
The
their own
whole
parking
office
lot.
has their own
No, the
parking
people,
behind.
they were visiting the Oval Office, the
That one,
gentlemen.
I'm not sure, I didn't look into that one, but the majority of the patrons are coming, they're going directly to the alley for Club Access. And that, like I said, it's convenient for them, rather than having to walk 250 feet or so down to Clay Street to.
Well,
back
we used to
around.
own a number of the parking lots in front of and around Pomps, but Pomps now owns it all.
Mhm.
So Pomps is allowing them to park in their lot. I mean, you could,
I mean, is that big lot owned by?
there's nothing over there owned by the city.
Yeah,
We
but
used to own it across from
Pomps allows them
Speakeasy.
to park there.
What?
Pomps allows them to park there, and they actually have like an employee in the lot. But yeah, it doesn't keep people from walking out of that alley and crossing.
Straight in front of us.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else with design that we can do there.
I mean, I don't think we would want them to cross mid-block, so it's not like you want to put an RV
Yeah, I
there.
wouldn't want to put an RV
It's-
because.
I mean, on the West Mason Street at 10th 10th and 11th in the island, we tell no jaywalking.
There we got the sign there.
The Tank School used to run across there, and we're like, no, go down to 12th and cross up the signals. You know? They come out of our parking ramp at the Cherry Street ramp, and right where the walkway goes out, they would cross, you know, right over the Packer Monument in the walking path
Yep.
that went up to Bay Lake Bank Building, and we're like, it's 75 feet to walk to the stop sign at Cherry and Washington, so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can we put up fencing? Like how it is by Palms there? Or is it not?
The only
Wide
way you
enough.
can get into Access, they don't go in the front door, they go in
the
the
back.
back through that alley. So that's the way they're leaving. If there's a way you could get the club behind them to allow a fence passage through, people would probably park behind.
You know, we get used to it.
That's more of a planning and inspection, I would think, you know, question to ask, not,
Yeah.
it's not, it's outside of
It's
our
outside,
realm is,
yeah.
is traffic and motorists in the public right away.
Even if you had them walk the 25 feet and cross at the corner at that time of day, people are probably drinking. And I don't know how you control that either. That's the hard part.
You know, even if you put up a fence, people are just gonna be drunk hopping the fence into traffic instead of walking in.
Yeah.
So,
And like even on, like on West Mason, we have a sign there. Which that might be something, but instead drunk people coming out, it's,
No.
that's when they're happening.
Is the problem
Could we
Pumps.
increase lighting?
parking lot?
No.
Could we, that's not the problem.
No, it's either the people speeding and drunk
Well, yeah,
or in their
it's-
cars, or it's the drunks leaving. I don't
Walking
think
in
it has to, they'd find somewhere to park.
But you know, if they were
Around the
parking over there,
corners.
and they're not crossing the street there, if they need to park on the streets behind there, then they're not crossing at all, but there's not a lot of street parking back there either.
Yeah.
No. Any great solutions from anybody?
Not offhand.
It's tough because that parking lot is blocked off, but it's like half empty, but it doesn't belong to it. It's who owns what.
Yeah.
The Oval Office.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Anything else, Sergeant?
Nope. That's all I got right now.
Is there a motion to approve the report from the police department?
Motion to receive and place in file.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Number 2, consideration possible action, request by Alder Galvin to study intersection of South Webster Avenue and Emily Street to determine the need for crossing guard. Is there a motion on this one? Do we need to discuss it?
Well, we studied this in the past. Tom went out, refreshed his notes, took a look at it again. This area is, this exact intersection is going to be getting an RRFB as part of the project that's going on this fall. It doesn't meet, it didn't meet the warrants the last time we looked at it. It doesn't meet the warrants now. It's definitely not going to meet the warrants if there's an RRFB there. I can't see any way that the police department nor the school district would recommend a crossing guard at this location, especially with all the control that's going to be there in a month. So the staff's recommendation is to deny.
And there's also, if you go 1 block, there's actually a light, and if you go
2
2
blocks.
blocks.
2 blocks.
There's
Emily-
2 blocks of
Emily,
light, and then if you
Eliza,
go 1,
and then
there's already
Rosie.
a cross by
Yeah.
Webster Avenue Market.
Yeah.
So they don't even
Yeah,
have to really
there's
go.
the
Oh,
flashing,
Agrinian is a flashing.
the
beacon.
flashing beacon at Grigno and then.
So there's
and-
like a 1 block and a 2 block, there's.
Yeah, and then 2 blocks to the north at Fort Leader
Yeah.
is a traffic signal, an actual signalized intersection.
yes, yes.
Matter of fact, we originally, as part of the RRFB project, we originally had proposed the RRFB at Eliza. Mayor and I received an outreach from a student-led group at Aldo Leopold. They had doodle polled their students and talked about where the pedestrian activity is, and it was because of their data and the request that they made that we moved it 1 block to the south and put it on Emily instead of Eliza. So there's a lot of study that's been going on over here. And it's, unfortunately, it's just, the second time we bid the project out, we had nobody bid on it. So we had to find a way to get this RFP contract constructed. Right now, the contractor who's gonna do it for us is finishing up their traffic signal work with the city. And as soon as they finish that, but they've given Tom and I every indication that they will have the RFB bases in before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so there's 5 pedestrians that cross Webster at Emily, and there's 4 that cross at Eliza. Once we get the RFB installed, we'll go back to Aldo Leopold and suggest that all the students that need to cross Webster, either if they want to go as far north as Porlier, because then they're crossing at a signal, which is ideal, but if they're going across there at either of the 2, they'd be better coming off the south end of the school and going down Emily, because that's where all 4 quadrants, 2 quadrants will have the RFB flashing, the other 2 quadrants will have buttons that they can push to activate those other 2, you know. So 2 of them are actually crossing with the flashing beacons, the other 2 are just buttons to actuate the crossers.
Right.
So,
Okay,
Motion to
Sounds
deny.
motion to deny, is there a second? There is a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Okay, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Any issues on these, Steve, or can we?
We have received no comments at all.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve 3, 4, 5, and 6?
No motion?
Okay, it's been moved by Steve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 7 and 8, traffic calming, our favorite topic. It's been going on for 8 months. Did everybody look at the final draft? I do have an
What was in
amendment.
there, the final draft?
What's that?
That was the final draft?
It should have been in the packet,
Because that was
right?
not a red line copy again.
The red line didn't make it in.
Nope, and it still had the 7 mile per hour threshold that,
That's my apologies if you want to delay this till next month. Sheila was not here on Friday. I had somebody else working with it. She grabbed the data from the last packet and brought it forward instead of the red line version that I
Okay.
created.
I'll just give this amendment to you. You have it in the email.
Yes,
We talked about it yesterday.
we did,
what is that one?
but I did want to talk to you a little bit more about it, so.
Okay. Basically, it would allow a developer to appeal to the committee and the city council if there's a disagreement with the department on traffic calming. The original request we received was to have any issue of traffic calming go directly to the committee or the city council for education, which I think was a bit too far in talking to Steve, because that would mean that a developer could essentially, in a traffic calming case, bypass the department and the professional people that need
Just
to
by
review these
disagreeing.
things.
Right.
So this is kind of the middle ground. Okay, I think that's
No,
it.
I apologize.
You could say you just like talked about traffic calming, we aren't gonna judge.
I get a little worried, Steve, when I saw the red line copy wasn't in there again, and I was like, Then I started reading through it, and I didn't see some of the changes we had made, so.
Yeah.
No, I know, because I called Dan specifically to discuss this with him on Friday,
Right.
and I said, I have a red line version now. That was one of the big hangups, was the commission wanted to see the actual red lines.
Yeah.
There aren't many of them, but,
Just to make sure that we've got all the changes that we've been
Yeah.
discussing over there.
Right.
so I had that, and unfortunately Sheila was off on Friday, so I had one of the other staff members, and she just grabbed the information from the last packet and carried it forward instead of replacing it with the red line version.
Okay,
Motion to hold.
so we'll bring that back next month. Finally, we'll get a vote on it. Okay, next meeting is November 18th. It will be past the election season. Thank God. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Do you have a
Aye.
copy of your amendment that I can?
Opposed,
steal?
nay. The ayes have it.